Hello, everyone. It's good to see you again. I'm Brian, and we're going to talk about the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida Gators in the game they played this past Saturday in the Swamp. As Miami dominated Florida in the season opener 41-17, we have some key takeaways from Miami versus Florida, focusing on the main themes, the important plays, and the potential implications for both teams going forward. Miami's offense showed championship potential. We have Ward, who was the real deal. Ward showcased his talent with accurate throws, smart decisions, and the ability to extend plays. His mastery of the RPO kept Florida's offense off balance throughout the game. Multiple offensive weapons for Miami made it very difficult for Florida to keep them all in check, but Miami demonstrated the depth and versatility of receiver named Restrepo, who was his favorite target for Cam Ward, particularly in crucial moments and in the seam route game. While his running backs, headed up by Martinez, was finding success between the tackles, specifically actually between the guards, pushing the pile forward. Capitalizing on their opportunities, the Hurricanes consistently converted in crucial situations. They exemplified by their red zone efficiency. Right? But Florida, on their defensive side, they couldn't figure out how to stop the RPO game of Cam Ward. Seemed like every decision they made, he had an answer for. The defense struggled to contain the offensive attack, and whenever they were able to get around him, they couldn't tackle him, bring him down, and he was able to get out of the pocket as needed. Now, while on offense, the Gators were led by Graham Mertz to start the game, and though he didn't move the ball very effectively, he was the choice for the Gators until the second half when he was injured due to a concussion, bringing in DJ Lagway, the freshman from Texas, who is the future for the Gators. But in this game, he was the backup. Now, going forward, it seems as though Lagway will get more opportunities, specifically because Mertz is out with his concussion. Now, when they did move the ball, it was slant patterns. Lagway was able to get on, and his running ability. So that helped for the Gators, but not altogether an effective offense for Florida. So we're going to see that we have the rhythm for Florida, not good. The one big play they had was by Montrell Johnson when he ran around the left side of the line. The line was able to help him by sealing the blocks on the guards and the tackles, getting the end, and he was able to take it to 71 yards all the way for the score. Besides that, Florida's offense could not do anything. For Miami, they could do whatever they wanted to on offense. Again, Ward seemed to have an answer for everything Florida's defense had, and if you saw the quarterback film done by Chase Daniels, he breaks it down really well on how Cam Ward can basically he passed the test. Everything they threw at him, he knew what he was doing. He even improvised a little bit when he had to, and it showed that Florida's defense actually wasn't always out of position. He just made them seem like it. So those 21 unanswered points in the third quarter, definitely something Florida needs to work on, but most of that was because Cam Ward had the ability to create that. Now, going forward, the Hurricanes seem poised for a successful season. Many say that this is going to be their hardest game, and if you look at the schedule, it's very well be. Florida State is not looking good, and Clemson did not look great against Georgia. So going forward, Miami may have already played their toughest game, and it was a blowout win. So look for them to be successful into possibly the championship game for the ACC, and then into the new 12-team playoffs. For the Gators, they do have more work to do. Now, looking at the film, it does look like they are better, but you can't tell. At least maybe not against Miami. We'll see in a few weeks when they play Texas A&M if they look any better. Texas A&M just played Notre Dame, and they struggled a little bit. But new coach, new system, and we'll see how that plays out here in a few weeks for Florida. But quarterback situation for Florida needs to be addressed. Maybe Lagway gets more playing time. Maybe Mertz is more effective when he plays, and we'll see how that goes from there. But just going through some of the notes from the game, again, Miami's RPO offense, Cam Ward, very effective. He consistently made the right reads. He was quick with his decisions. And when the right person in the right time, he put the ball right where he needed to, except for that one interception to Jamar James. Everything else was right on pace. Florida did look better on special teams. You have to respect that they did address and fix that part of their game, which was the worst part of their game last year. Field position flipped, field goals were made, punts were down in the correct positions, the same numbers were not used more than once on the same sideline, so good thing for Florida there. Again, Johnson's 71-yard run was a great run, but we never saw them even attempt that same play again. Don't know why you wouldn't try to be successful in the same play again, but maybe they didn't see it at the right time. But again, sometimes when you have the right play, run it more than once. All right. We don't know the situation on Mertz. We heard it's a concussion. We don't know if he'll be back in time for this week's game versus Stanford, but we do know that he should be back at some point. We just don't know what his timeline will be. Play clock management. Florida still, even with the new headsets, had some issues. We saw that highlighted by a timeout they called when Graham Mertz was trying to clap the snap and wasn't able to get it going. Florida's communication isn't quite there, and maybe that's just a lack of understanding what the defense was doing, but it did not look good for that. One thing for Miami, maybe they need to work on, is their special teams. They missed a field goal attempt in the fourth quarter, giving Florida a little bit of hope, but besides that, Miami looked pretty good. And for Florida, looking forward, do we see the Lagway era? Has it started? As a true freshman, does he get to play out the rest of the season, or are we going to wait a little longer to see how Mertz does after his return and then see what Lagway does? But Florida's invested a lot into Lagway, and I think he looks like he could handle it. Let's just see if they let him do it. All right. Though he did throw that weird interception at the end of the game with the person laid on the ground, and they basically threw the interception right to him. I don't know if that's a Florida thing or just a bad dip at the line of scrimmage, but that definitely did not go well for Florida there. And to wrap it up, we just need to see how the season goes. This is a time of the season in September when we don't know what teams are going to necessarily look like. So as Green Day says, let's wait till September ends before we kind of figure out this whole thing. But when we get into early October, I think we have a pretty good idea that Miami's going to be pretty good and Florida is going to be still finding their ways. And that's going to be hard to figure out. All right. Hope everybody's having a great day out there. We'll see you later.